Said this the Kingship podcast, living fast on the wingtips. G5 when we dash, getting fly. This light from our eyes, no we never fold. Speak the truth and we getting loose, standing on our toes. Said this the Kingship podcast, living fast on the wingtips. G5 when we...
Yo, what's up, what's happening? It's your boy King Chills with another episode of the Kingship podcast. First and foremost, let's get the housekeeping out the way. Before we jump into today's topic. If you're watching on YouTube, man, please like, share, subscribe, man. I'm trying to get to 1K. I'm trying to get to 1,000 followers, 1,000 subscribers, so please support, man. Hit that link below. Please engage. I'm trying to get into the algorithm. Trying to build this thing up from nothing, man. And I'm trying to really let this thing take off, and I need y'all help. So I need looking to get to 1,000 subscribers. So please like, share, subscribe, tap in with me, please. If you're listening on Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts at, please subscribe as well. For those of you who've been supporting and rocking with me since day one, I appreciate it from the bottom of my heart. Now, trust me, it don't go unnoticed. I try to get back to y'all in the comments when y'all comment on things, and when y'all hit me up on a one-on-one tip. I appreciate it, and trust me, it doesn't go unnoticed. I'm humbly and thankful for that support. And for the ones that's just joining me on this journey, I thank you as well too. But yeah, I'm trying to get up there. I'm trying to make this shake. So, for those of you who rock with it and rock with me, man, just like, share, subscribe. That's all I can say. Help your boy out, man. But now that we got through all that, the praise, the adulations, and all the good times, man, let's get to this topic, man. This topic is real interesting to me because, one, I'm an educator, as most of you who've been on this journey know. I've stated this on more than one occasion, why there's certain things in education that need to change. A lot of time, and actually the reason I've had this topic in my head for a while, and I wanted to speak on it, but sometimes I know I can ramble, sometimes I know I can feel like I don't have I'm not a person that writes everything down, so sometimes they come off the head and it just come off as word vomit and just be like, all right, we just here and this is what it is, and I just put it out there. But I really wanted to be calculated with this because I really wanted this to resonate with a lot of people, especially parents, educators, people who work with kids in any way, shape, or form. And I really got a boost of energy when I saw the TikTok viral sensation of parents asking their kids to fight for them because they gonna go fight a neighbor, go fight homegirl down the street, or whatever the case may be, and asking their kids to basically go get your shoes on, come on, we about to go to war, okay? And it was real interesting to me, the responses that I saw from the parents, jokingly, yes, but also some of those responses that I saw from those kids. And a lot of the ones that were going viral were kids, I would say, couldn't be no older than 13 from the ones that I see, okay? Now, I've taught in high school. I currently teach in middle school. And there gets to a point when kids get to a certain age where you start putting certain things in there. It's harder for that kid to, for lack of a better term, for you to change their mentality. Okay? Train up a child in the way that they should go. Help them out. Put them in a position to be successful. That's what I tell my students all the time. I'm going to do the best that I can to put you in a position to be successful, whatever success looks like for you. And the one thing that I get real frustrated about is how a lot of these parents can I'm gonna call it exploit their kids for a joke, for a laugh, for followers, for whatever it is that it may be, because it's funny, but won't invest in those kids when it's time to invest in them, i.e. being in school, i.e. sports, knowledge, different things. And this ain't all parents, and this is not a bash, but this is some of the things that I've seen in my time in the education system. And don't get me wrong, I'm gonna say this like I tell my students: if it don't apply, let it fly. Because a lot of times we get folks that get in their feelings and say, well, that ain't me. They ain't got nothing. Okay, if it don't apply, let it fly. It's cool. You doing what you're supposed to do. And I'm gonna be honest with you. You don't get a cookie and a pat on the back for making sure that your child is doing what they're supposed to do, putting them in the position that they need to be in to be successful. Because quiet as kept, no child asked to be here. None of us asked to be here. We all know how we got here, but nobody asked to be here. You were created because it took your father, your mother, or whatever the situation was for you to come here, and that's how you got here. So, if it don't apply, let it fly. But for the ones who need to hear this, this is for you. I get real frustrated when I see parents that are more involved in the social media aspect and things. Because it's funny because I had this conversation with somebody about investing in your kid. And how we'll sit up here, it was during prom season. And a lot of times we see proms where I'm talking prom, that's the end all junior, senior year, that's the end all be all. Folks go all out for prom, all out. I'm talking use dresses to the nine, suited and booted, cars, man, driving cars better. Some of these kids don't need to be driving them cars on prom night because you don't know what's gonna happen. But at the end of the day, they out here, you think they about some money. They big stepping out here. They out here big stepping. And I ain't mad at it. At the end of your 4 years of high school or junior year, whatever the case, when you go, that is a culmination, that is an accomplishment, that is an achievement that you should experience. But as a grown individual now, I look at prom as a waste of money. Personally, but at that time as a kid, you experienced that was cool, that was what it was. But as an adult, I'm like, don't even talk to the person that I went to prom with at the time. Not that there's any bad blood or that, but don't talk to her. Don't know where she couldn't tell you. And secondly, it's like, okay, that was cool, that was for one night, and all that money you put into that could have went somewhere else, knowing what I know now. But that's beside the point. But I see a lot of parents that go so hard for prom, so hard. But some of those kids, if you look at them grades, if you look at the investment that teachers have had to ask for some of those students to, hey, your child is failing in such and such area. What can we do to work together? Because a lot of times I heard this argument, well, you're the teacher. Why don't you put them in the position to be successful? Well, sir, ma'am, your child comes in my classroom every day. Whatever the situation is that they're coming from home, I understand that. And I'm a person that's one of those teachers. I'm gonna meet your child where they're at. So I understand they may have a situation at home or from the streets or whatever the case where they're coming from, where it's like, okay, it may not be the best. So let me help you meet you where you at. But at the same time, I'm also in the same mindset that it takes a village to raise a child. It takes a village to raise a child. So when we sit up here and say that, it's not just the teachers that need to take a role. It's the coaches, the mom, the dad, the grandparents, whatever extracurricular activity or individual that they're in. That all culminates into what that child is going to be when they step out into the real world. And I think a lot of people, especially some of these parents that I see now, I think a lot of people have a misconception that we just supposed to put these kids in school. They're supposed to get everything from the schoolhouse. And when they go back home, hey, hands off. I've done my job for the day. Nah, that's not how that works. And it just frustrates me because I see a lot of that. I see a lot of, we go hard for prom, but when it's time to call a parent up, your child ain't doing X, Y, Z. Your child is struggling in this area. Your child could use some extra help here. Crickets, no callbacks, no emails. I had a parent that went off on me talking about, well, why ain't you let me know X, Y, Z was happening? Well, man, we had this conversation through email. Let me go ahead and pull up my Rolodex and my call logs and get this paper trail going and let's show you. I did try to have this conversation with you, but you were busy doing other things, whatever that may be. And again, for me personally, I know what that looks like because I grew up going through some hard times myself when I was in school. Without putting too much out there, it was some rough times. It was some rough times, but I was able to make it through. But I see some parents that are more active on social media, or some parents that are more invested on the frivolous things that don't matter. You will spend thousands of dollars on prom, but your kid can't read and write correctly the way that they need to do, and you won't invest in the tutor. That to me blows my mind when I see shit like that. And then you will tell oh man, I love parent-teacher conferences or report card time. I love it. Because honestly, it goes to show you, I call them performative parents. The ones that come up in there with a straight face, perform out the wazoo. Yeah, they'll look at the kid, look at the child or the student and be like, man, you ain't been doing your work? Oh, da. You know what? We'll make sure the communication needs to be what it needs to be. I'll be on here. Text me this when they don't do this. Email me this. I just didn't know. I got busy. I didn't know. I didn't have the correct information. Da. Cool. Respect. Understood. Now that we have an understanding, because the first quarter, first semester or whatever, I'm not tripping because I understand, it's new for some kids, some kids coming over. It could be a struggle. Transition period. Cool, I get that. So after that first parent-teacher conferences, when we start to see folks face-to-face and we can actually have that conversation, we can get the correct contact information, because that's an issue too. Having the correct contact information. To me personally, I would never understand how you do not, if something happens to your child and we got to call you and we can't get in contact with you, what we gonna do? But again, priorities don't be placed where they need to be at. So after that first quarter, we see certain things take place. All right, cool. Let's go ahead. We shake it up. All right, now I got everything on point. So now we can communicate effectively now. Those parents fall out. I'm talking about after first, second week, man, I don't hear from them. Email them, da. Then report cards come for the next time. I don't understand how your mind, what are you doing as a teacher that ain't got a, Where is your investment in your child? I told you first quarter that this individual needed help reading. Math skills was a little shoddy, and we're working to do it. Here's some of the strategies that I provided them in the classroom that can be taken home to be used, that can be reinforced. School is to teach the content and help reinforce it, but you can also reinforce those skills at home. And I think people fail to realize we only see your kid in the classroom for that small point in time. So it might be 55 minutes, whatever, 50, 45, whatever it might be, and they might have to switch. So they might be on a block schedule. So we might see them 3 days, whatever. Sometimes it might be every day, depending on what school you're at and what district and how they work that out. But we may not see them every day. And if we do see them every day, we might not be able to work with them in that realm that you're looking for. So we need that help to be able to reinforce at home. That's what the point of homework is, and personally, I'm not a fan of homework because I don't really think it really teaches anything personally. That's just my opinion. I really think homework, when I look back at it, there was times when I did the homework as a student myself, the homework wasn't beneficial because I was doing it for completion, for the grade. I wasn't doing it for the understanding. So, but that's another conversation for another episode. But it's just, I really wonder, like, why don't parents invest in the right areas? And especially with our demographic. You know what I'm saying? I can't worry about everybody else. I'm sorry. But especially my demographic, being a black man in education and seeing some of our kids fall by the wayside time and time again, not telling these kids the truth. I see kids that graduate and walk the stage at 18, 17, 18, walk past the stage and have been passed along. And that's an issue with the school district. The school districts have their hand in the situation too, because they're culpable in a lot of the stuff that they do, but getting passed along, and then they walk across the stage and they look so lost. Because for 4 years, They were told, okay, you need to do that. You need to do X, Y, and Z. And, we see it. Teacher burnout is real. We see that certain parents don't care. We see the student don't care. So in turn, why should the teacher care, right? And you see a lot of that. And when they get burnt out, you be like, damn. And buddy just look lost. And then they get into the real world and you trying to figure out what they gonna do. So what they get into. They get to acting the fool, doing whatever, because that's the environment that they in. That's the things that they're going through. And it's just, I want parents to invest more, man. You see your child is struggling, instead of putting, like, I say this, you can't be the freshest, dumbest person in the classroom. You will invest in kids to be fresh in school, but will not invest in a tutor. That is backwards to me. That's backwards to me. You'll wait in line for the new J's. You'll pay top dollar for the new J's, but you won't invest in this tutor for this child, knowing that they're struggling in these areas. Putting them in positions to be successful. And I'm not saying that the child got to come to school looking any type of way. Hell nah. I want to be fresh too. I get it. But if I see that they're struggling in the English, in the math, let me try to do something. And I got the argument I had the pushback where it's like, well, some parents see that their kid is not going to college early and they know that. So, why invest? Why not? To me, that's a cop-out. I understand based on whatever they are cognitively, or they may have be in special education with an IEP or whatever the case may be. Why won't, and that's another thing. So, because me, I'm a special ed teacher. So it's like, I'll see a lot of parents that will keep kids on the IEP or won't try. The whole purpose is to try to help them understand these skills, to build them so we can try to wean them off, so we can catch them up. Now, sometimes it's not doable. Sometimes it just doesn't work out like that. Sometimes it is. But again, it would help when a lot of the parents get the reinforced. But we don't see that. We see a lot of ducking and dodging, tossing the blame game when it comes to a child not having the right resources and not being able to educate themselves. And I get it. Some parents don't know themselves. But one thing that I hate to hear, when you know better, you do better. If I know that myself, I wasn't able to get this, let me put my child in the position so they can get that. And it, again, people say it's money, and look, I was broke. I grew up broke, ain't have it, just was poor as shit. Like it wasn't going. You know what I'm saying? I can tell you a couple times I done walked into a couple schools with some shoes that wasn't stellar, that wasn't what it was. You know what I'm saying? I remember one time at my school, they used to pull your pants leg up to see what you had on your feet. And if it wasn't up to par, boy, you would them blow down, them rush sessions was crazy. It could get real hectic. And I'm not saying that you got to send your child looking to school like that. But if you can pay $250 for some J's, you can invest in the damn tutor. If you can shop top of the line, they can be tip top, you can get a tutor. Or even to the point of, look, I know my child, my son or daughter is struggling in this area. I see that you care. I see that. What can we do? Do you mind working with my child after school, doing something? And I'm not saying every teacher's gonna do that, because some teachers after the bell ring, they out of there. I ain't gonna lie to you. Some teachers is out of there. They get tired. I'm not gonna sit up and tell that lie and act like every teacher is about that life. Because sometimes when that bell ring and you've been dealing with kids all day, being quiet as kept, you tired, you ready to go. Or you got meetings and all the other obligations as a teacher that you need to fulfill, and taking on a little bit extra can be a lot. But there are some teachers, if you ask, hey, do you mind giving them a little extra help after school, before school, or something like that to work it out? Is there something we can do? But it's some parents that don't even ask that. And I really get real frustrated because, again, I see it time and time again. Students every kid can be reached by somebody. Every child can be reached by somebody. I've had kids that they may not be receptive to me. Cool, understood. But my brother down there, my good sister down there, they got the tools that they need. You know what? They have a different approach. Let me go in, and vice versa. But I get tired of hearing the excuse where I don't know, I can't. What is it? Parents are. I see that all the time, and I think that's a frustrating thing in the education system. Is you see this as a teacher. I'm talking about. I saw this prime. I'm talking dressed to the nine. Like I'm not mad at you. You're supposed to come out star-studded, but you invest that type of money in your kid for the end of the year, and their grades look like shit. Nah, to me that makes no sense to me. Where was that investment in the 4 years they were in high school? Where was that investment earlier when they were in middle school? Shit, some of the kids, where is that investment early in elementary school? Because if you start well and help build the foundation for that child, by the time they get to high school, they're not struggling as much, and some of the things can be easier. All this is building blocks. Are they gonna get everything? No. There's some kids that are gifted in the academics area, they're gonna take off. There's some kids that are well below the academic area for whatever reason. They were passed on, weren't paying it. There's a bevy of reasons why certain kids fall way below the academic line. Understood. But I'm not saying we gonna save everybody. I'm not saying that. But I would love to see a lot more invested parents in their child's education and investing in what they need to do. That's all I'm saying. Kids got better phones than me. I tell you like this, my mom used to tell me all the time when I was growing up, who the hell do you need to call? I bought my first cell phone. Now, mind you, I graduated high school in 2009, so it's a little different. Cell phones was just coming out. It's back when we had the Nextel chirps and stuff like that. So it's a little different. But now, that's another thing too. With all the technology, YouTube, there's so many different ways for a child to get this knowledge. There's so many different ways. With technology the way it is, if you want it, it's there for you to get. You just have to be willing to do it. And I think that's my problem. It's a lot of people that's not willing to do that. It's a lot of parents that, your kid in the streets, your kid doing God knows what. Where's the investment? Don't lie. And man, and you, of course, I do my job. Don't lie to me. You ain't gotta lie to me. Trust me. I'm just a teacher here. I'm gonna make sure I do what I do, but I only see your child from this time to this time. When they go home to you, what do? A lot of them, they go back into the environment in which they came from. So I understand that it's not always acceptable. Certain things just are not played, and certain things are always not built in their favor. I got that. But what is it that we can do to help them grow to be better men, women in society? And I'm not saying that every kid is going to college. But if I know, and let's use the argument that I said earlier, if I know that this student or my child is not a college person, that ain't where they want to go. Well, shit, I know they ain't gonna go to college. Well, let me start looking at some different avenues, some vocational trades, some things that's gonna put them in a position. After high school, they're gonna make a lot more money than working or stacking boxes somewhere. Let me go ahead and invest in that. Okay, cool. You know what? You already let me know that ain't where you trying to go. That ain't your avenue. That ain't your ministry. Cool. I respect that. Hey, take up. Let's look into some electrician things. Let's look into some plumbing, landscaping. Let's look into some different things that can put some money in your pocket the legit way. And if we do it right, by the time you graduate, hey, just like if you was to go to school and get college credits while in high school, if we do this right, hey, you might be able to have you a nice solid foundation. Hey, see if there's any internships are out there or apprenticeships to be able to do that. Invest. That's my biggest thing. Invest in your kids, man. We always get mad, especially as adults. We always get mad and say, these kids out here doing God knows what. It starts at home. It starts at home. Before they got to the school building, it starts at home. You got to be responsible for your own child. They did not ask to be here. I get everybody's situation different. I get some folks, people are, times is hard. I get it. I grew up in rough times, so I understand that. But what I will not understand is how you will invest in your kid when it's not feasible. And that takes me back to the TikTok. The trauma, the different things that you really, kids are already going through a lot in this decade, in this day and age. They're already going through a lot in this day and age. Sorry. So why would we sit up here and be like, well, let me, some of the kids is ready for it. Ready to fight. So you'll breed that. And then and it's funny, and the thing is, it's funny now. It's funny now because they're young, it's cute. It ain't funny when they 14, 15 and they like, oh, nah, fuck all that, what you talking about? Yeah, I'm with the shits. It's cool, and it's cool when the little baby cussing and telling folks, oh yeah, fuck you, da 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 da. Oh yeah, you're a bitch, and da 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 da. That's cute. Everybody laughing. When they get older, and when they dogging adults and not knowing how to say please and thank you, and don't know how to talk to somebody. I see it all the time in the schools now. It's kids, middle school, don't know how to don't know how to respect their elders, talk to an adult. And I'm not, well, you got to respect the kids. If I say, hey, how you doing or whatever, or if I say, hey, no, you can't do that, and you over here cussing me out, first off, before I was a teacher, I was a real one and still am. We not going for that. Second off, it's a level of decorum and respect that you need to have. Even to this day for myself. I can get you together, but I'm gonna be respectful about it. And I tell kids all the time, you can't just be in certain areas cussing folks all the time. You ain't gonna get nowhere with that. So, the biggest thing that I wanted to get on here and say for this topic is invest in your kids, man. Invest in your kids. Whatever you can do to invest in them, invest in them. The same way you want to invest in social media, the TikTok, the Instagram, get your followers up, putting yourself out there. Make sure you invest when you want them to go to school and be fresh. Make sure you invest in their education in some way, shape, or form. Make sure you invest in making sure they understand what manners are and how to talk to people correctly. The teachers can only do so much. Yes, we got a job to do, and we need to make sure that we doing our job on our front as well too, which means making sure they get the content, meeting them where they're at, meeting the student where they're at, trying to build an effective relationship with the student as well as the parent, so everybody can be on the same page of what's going on with that child's education, and not get frustrated or upset when other people can't do what they need to do. All right. So that I ain't gonna say, like I said, I ain't want to say too much on here. I just want to go ahead and say that it was something that was on my mind, it was on my heart, and I'm passionate about making sure our students and our kids, man, are successful, man. Our time is now, their time is next, and we gotta do everything in our power to make sure that they are good. We got to do everything in our power to make sure that they are going to be what they need to be. They're gonna be the next doctors, lawyers, government officials, all that. And if we don't do what we need to do, to put them in the best position to be successful, we fail. And it takes a village. it really does. It takes a village. It takes a village. So let's go ahead and make sure we doing our part. Everybody taking their time to do their part to make sure that these children are successful out here. But I appreciate y'all for watching as usual. Again, if you're watching on the YouTube, please like, share, subscribe this. If you're watching or listening on any of the podcasts, Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts, please subscribe as well. Also, you can follow me on Instagram at Kingship Podcast. That's at Kingship Podcast. And you can follow me on TikTok as well at Kingship Podcast, man. Hey, this is another episode of the Kingship Podcast. I appreciate y'all. Peace, love, and blessings. Y'all be easy out here. Until next time. Peace.
Hey.